So welcome to the first of our 2 bonus apps for the Android course. In this one, we're going to make the basic functionality of Twitter. So if you haven't used Twitter before, then you should definitely get on there. It's a really useful tool to market yourself and to meet people that are going to help you in your app development career. The basic idea is that you can choose who you want to follow, and then once you've chosen to follow certain people, then those tweets appear in your timeline. And that's what we're going to recreate. So essentially, we're going to have an app with a login screen, and then it's going to have a list of people that you can choose to follow. And then once you've followed those, you can view all the people's tweets on a separate activity. You can also, of course, tweet yourself, and your followers will be able to view that. So there's a few new things that we're going to cover here, but there are 2 particular new features. And the first is to have a table with essentially a tick list. So we can have a list of people to follow, and it will show a tick if we've chosen to follow them. And the second is to use what's known as a dialogue. So essentially a pop-up box, much like the one on the Twitter website, that pops up when you want to tweet, and then you enter your tweet information in the box and then choose to send it. So those are the 2 new Android user features that we're going to cover, but there'll be a lot of other new stuff as well. So if we jump straight over, actually we'll start with Pass, because we'll need to create an app for Twitter. And as I said at the beginning of this section, the bonus apps are included for you to follow along, learn some new techniques, and create yet another complete app. But I'm also reasonably expecting that by this point of the course, you could either do most of what we're about to cover from memory, or be able to Google it and figure it out for yourself. So do have a go at creating each part before you watch the video, as always. And our simple aim in this video is to create the sign up and login screen, which is something that we've done before. We're going to do it in a slightly different way here, but feel free to go crazy and create any kind of sign up or login screen that you like. All right, so let's get started. We'll do this in the usual way. So we'll go to our apps, and then we'll create a new app for Twitter. Here we go. So let's create a new app. I'll just call it Twitter. And then we'll do our usual quick start to download the code for Android. So data, mobile, Android, Java, new project. Download the blank Android project. Okay, I'm going to pop that straight onto the desktop, and there it is. So we'll just double click as usual, and then we'll go over to Android Studio, and actually we don't want to create a new project, we want to open an existing one. So File, Open, and there's our project. So we'll choose that one, and here we go. So let's put in the necessary application keys and application IDs and client keys. So as always, don't copy mine, but use your own. Otherwise you won't be able to work with the data browser. So application ID and client key. There we go. I'll change the title to Twitter while we're there as well. And then I'll just use the pass code to test that everything's working. There we go. Import that. Great. One other thing that I'd recommend doing as well is removing any previous Pass apps that you've created on this particular phone. So actually I think I'm clear here, but unless you want to change the package name, which you can do, want to leave that the same, then you'll probably want to delete the previous package just so you don't have any problems with sessions or the app thinking that it's logged in when it's not, for example. So while that's compiling, we'll jump over to our data browser here. Should all be fairly familiar now. We know what we're expecting. So I'll choose the running emulator. but any emulator will do for this one. And there we've got our basic app looking promising. So let's do a quick refresh. We should have a user. And there we go, looking good. So there's our user, and just to check, our test object is what we expected. Wonderful. So now for our login screen, I'm going to start by just downloading the Twitter logo to make it look a little bit prettier than usual. So in the usual way, I'll recommend, obviously, don't do this on any live app that you're creating, but perfectly fine for a bit of fun. Which logo shall we use? I think this one. So it's by 728 by 400, should be okay, and it's actually got a nice transparent background as well. So save image as Twitter-logo. I'll save it on the desktop. Great. Then we'll go back into Android Studio, create a drawable directory, and then open that up in Finder. There it is, and let's just then drag our Twitter logo into it. Difficult to get everything on the screen at once, but there we go. Wonderful. So now it should be there. Great. Okay, so let's fix this quickly. And we'll get rid of our code creating our test object. Right, let's get our app looking the way we want it to then. So let's bring in an image view. Actually, let's get rid of the text view first. We don't need that. And this is going to be our Twitter logo. There it is. Oh, we've got an error there. I think it's because it lost the .png at the end. Oh no, maybe it doesn't like the dash. Let's just try renaming that to Twitter logo. And then getting it again from there. That's better. So it's a little bit large. I'm actually going to resize the height there. We'll have to change the height to, instead of wrap content, we want a specific height. But I think actually rather than do that, I will crop the Twitter logo itself. Because you can see there's a lot of blank space around it here. So rather than trying to resize it, I'll just crop it here, which we can do with Command K on a Mac. So now we've saved that there. Let's try refreshing that. There we go. That looks much better. All right, so now, as before, I'm not going to have any text explaining what to do. You probably would want to, but I'm going to jump straight to a text field, which again is going to go in the center, and we want it to be underneath the logo. I might have to put that in myself. So the width is going to be match parent, and this is going to be a username. There we go. And then let's have another one. This one's going to be a password. So below username, the width is going to be match parent again. And this one's going to have an ID of password. There we go. They're a little bit closer together. So let's just add a little bit of a margin on the second edit text. So the first edit text is indeed under the image view and it's centered, which is exactly what I want. So let's just add a, got it right there. Margin top. Let's try 10 dp. Okay, yep, looks good. I might just have a little bit more. Lovely. And then we'll need our button just there. Now I'm going to have a single button for login or sign up. So what I'm actually going to do is check to see if the username exists, and if it does, attempt to log them in, and if it doesn't, then attempt to sign them up. This isn't necessarily a great way of doing things. I have seen apps work in this way before. It's very simple for the user, but it has the downside that if the user does a typo in their username, then it will create a new account for them and log them in with that new account, which is a bit surprising for the user. But on the upside, it has a very simple interface with just a single button there, which if they don't do any typos, works great either way. So I'm actually just going to quickly go back on my 10 dps there. I think 20 was a bit too much, but I'm going to add 10 dps of padding above the button as well. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's just add in a login or sign up on click for the button. Where are we? There we go. So login or sign up. Okay, so now we're over to main activity, and I'm just going to start by creating the login or sign up method, which will be called by the button view. And in fact, everything is going to happen here for this video. We're not having anything happening on the onCreate method. Okay, so now I'm going to get my code from the parse documentation. So that's parse.com/docs/Android. And remember, what we're going to try and do is log them in first off. So attempt a login. And then, if that fails, we'll attempt a sign up. So let's get our login code first. This is under users and logging in. There we go. So we want parse user, login in background, and we'll need that login callback. So the only customization we need to do for the actual call is the username and password. So let's define some edit texts. And so we'll have username, edit text, and password, edit text. Now, we haven't actually defined two together like that, but it's quite a neat way. If you've got two variables of the same type that you want to define at the same time, then you can just sign them up or create them separated by comments like that. All right, now we'll take our username edit text, and this is going to be an edit text. Find it by its ID, r.id.username. Same with password, edit text, find view by ID, r.id.password. All right. Then we just need to get the username edit text dot get text for the username, and we're going to need to convert that into a string, which is easy enough, and same with password. And let's convert that to a string as well. All right. And while we're here as well, I've just remembered we should turn off enable automatic user, because we're obviously not using that. So here, if we get to here, we've been successful. So we'll just log for the moment. Logged in. And if we fail on the login, it actually doesn't matter too much why we fail. We're going to attempt a sign up straight away, because the most likely option is that they haven't got an account yet, so we need to create one for them. So let's get our sign up code. Again, just copying directly from the pass documentation. So we're not going to need any other fields, but we do need that sign up callback. And then we'll need to get the username and password values in just the same way that we did above. And we've got user twice here, so I'm just going to call that new user, which means we'll need to update these. And there as well. Okay, and then here we'll have signed up instead of logged in. And here, this means things have really gone wrong. I'm just going to do a simple toast saying couldn't log you in or sign you up. Of course, you can look at the pass response and see what the detailed error message is if you want something more detailed there, more useful. So let's have a toast. Actually, we should use get application context as we're in sign up in background there. Or sorry, the sign up callback. Could not log in or sign up. Please try again. And we'll have length long, and then don't forget to show it. Okay, so that should allow us to log in or sign up, and it will give an error message if either there's a problem with the user's internet connection or they've given an invalid password or something like that. Let's take a look. Okay, that's looking nice. Let's just take a look at our logs. So first off, let's just try and log in or sign up someone. There we go. We've got that failed message. That's a good sign. And then let's try and do it correctly this time. So Rob, and I'll use pass as password. So there we go. We've got a successful sign up. Excellent. And if we tapped it again, we should get a successful login this time. Yeah, brilliant. So that's great. While I'm here, I'm going to sign up a few other people as well. So let's sign up Kirsten, Tommy, and Ralphie. There we go. So let's just very quickly jump back over to pass and make sure that we have those users. Wonderful. There we go. So there's our very simple login and sign up screen. Our next challenge is going to be just displaying the usernames, and then the new bit is allowing users to select them if they want to follow them, and deselect them if they don't. And we'll do that in the next video.